The rain hammered the squad car's roof like fists on a coffin, drowning out Ethan's sobs as the cuffs clicked shut around his wrists. "Austin, tell him Daddy's just going away for a bit. Tell Mikey it's not forever," Ethan begged. His identical face, mirrored down to the crooked scar on their left brows, twisted in the kind of desperation that shatters mirrors. Austin knelt in the muddy driveway of their crumbling Omaha ranch house, pulling 5-year-old Mikey into his chest, the boy's tiny heart thundering against his own like a trapped bird, while the red and blue lights painted their tears in electric hues of goodbye. Austin had always known his twin was the wildfire to his steady hearth. But that night in the spring of 2018, as the Nebraska sky split open, he felt the burn firsthand. Wild-eyed and reeking of cheap bourbon and regret, had crashed his truck into the county line fence after a bender at the VFW hall, third DUI in 2 years. This time with Mikey buckled in the back, wide awake and screaming. The cops didn't need to say it. Austin saw the felony charge blooming in their eyes like a bruise. "He's family," Austin muttered to the officer, his voice gravel-rough from too many late shifts at the auto shop. But the man just shook his head, clipboard in hand. By dawn, Ethan was in Douglas County lockup, and Mikey was curled on Austin's couch, clutching a stuffed dinosaur that smelled like spilled Cheerios and his father's cologne. That first week blurred into a fever dream of court dates and custody papers. Their mama had passed from the Big C a decade back, leaving the twins to fend for the old man until he followed her 2 years later, his liver pickled from the same bottle Ethan's hand kept chasing. No aunts, no uncles, just Austin, 28 and single. His life a rotation of oil changes and dive bar hookups that never stuck. And now this, a towhead kid with Ethan's dimpled chin and a stutter that worsened when he cried. "Uncas," Mikey whispered that night, peeking from under the quilt Austin's grandma had stitched before the arthritis stole her fingers. "Is Daddy comin' home for pancakes?" Austin swallowed the lump in his throat, the one that tasted like failure. "Tomorrow, buddy. We'll make him extra chocolatey. But the first of many." But what else could he do? The judge granted temporary guardianship pending Ethan's trial, 10 years minimum if the stars aligned shitty, and social services hovered like vultures, their clipboards tallying Austin's empty fridge and the rainbow flag sticker peeling off his truck's bumper. Yeah. He was gay, had been since he and Ethan discovered penthouse mags under the bleachers in high school. Austin stealing glances at the men while his brother chased skirts. But in Omaha, where the Bible Belt buckled tight, coming out meant whispers at the shop, sideways looks from the neighbors. Raising Mikey solo? That was a whole other rodeo. He quit the overtime shifts, picked up freelance mechanic gigs on weekends, and enrolled Mikey in the free preschool at the community center. Mornings were Lego towers and spilled milk, evenings, bedtime stories from a dog-eared copy of Where the Wild Things Are, Austin's voice cracking on the parts about monsters turning back into boys. Mikey bloomed under it, his stutter fading like morning fog. But the nightmares clung, dreams of sirens and Daddy's truck exploding in flames. Austin held him through them, rocking on the creaky porch swing, the Mississippi's distant hum a lullaby neither of them believed in anymore. It was during one of those endless summer dusks, the air thick with firefly glow and grill smoke from the block party down the street, that Austin met Caleb. The community center's annual picnic was a potluck affair, hamburgers charred to hockey pucks, Jell-O salads wobbling like drunk ants, and Austin had dragged Mikey there for the face painting and the illusion of normalcy. My cheeks smeared with tiger stripes, darted toward the bounce house, leaving Austin nursing a lukewarm Bud Light. his flannel sleeves rolled up against the humidity. "You look like you could use a real drink," came a voice. Smooth as aged bourbon, with a faint drawl that screamed Texas transplant. Austin turned, and there he was, Caleb's early 30s, with sun-kissed skin stretched over cheekbones sharp enough to cut glass. Dark hair cropped military short, and eyes the color of storm clouds over the plains, gray-green. Piercing. Alive. He wore a faded OU Sooners tee that hugged his runner's build, cargo shorts slung low on narrow hips, and a smile that hit Austin like a jumper cable to the chest. Or maybe just someone who knows the difference between Keystone and Craft IPA, Austin shot back, surprised at his own ease, the words tumbling out with a grin he hadn't worn since before the cuffs. Caleb laughed, a low rumble that vibrated through the picnic table, and handed over a sweating bottle of something local, hoppy and forbidden on Austin's budget. They talked for hours, Mikey eventually conking out on a blanket with a juice box proxy for a pillow, about everything and nothing. Caleb's move from Austin, ironic? That, after a bad breakup with his ex-coach, his gig as a high school counselor specializing in at-risk kids. The way Nebraska's winters could freeze your soul but thaw it come June. "You're doing good by that little guy," Caleb said softly, nodding toward Mikey. Not everyone's cut out for the dad gig at 28. Austin's laugh was bitter, self-deprecating. "I'm no dad. Just the backup plan." Brother's idea of family planning was knocking up his high school sweetheart and then ghosting when the checks bounced. He didn't mention the gay part, not yet, but Caleb's eyes lingered, warm and knowing, like he'd clocked the flag sticker from across the lawn. By the bounce houses deflate. Caleb had Austin's number scrawled on a napkin. And 2 weeks later, they were at Ray's Dive, the jukebox crooning Johnny Cash while Mikey napped in the back booth with a coloring book. Caleb's knee brushed Austin's under the table, deliberate, electric, and when their fingers laced over the scarred wood, Austin felt the dam crack. That night, after dropping Mikey at the Sitters, they tumbled into Austin's apartment, a shoebox above the shop. Posters of Springsteen peeling at the edges, and it was messy. Urgent. Caleb's mouth on his neck, hands mapping scars from shop accidents and boyhood brawls. Whispering, "Let me in." "Os. I've got you." For the first time since the rain-soaked arrest, Austin believed it. The months blurred into a rhythm, Caleb at weekend barbecues, flipping burgers while Mikey called him Cobby and begged for piggyback rides, quiet nights with takeout Thai and the office reruns. Caleb's head on Austin's lap as he traced lazy patterns on his thigh. Austin opened up about Ethan, the twin bond that felt like a curse some days. The way they'd shared everything from scraped knees to stolen smokes until life forked them apart. Ethan chased adrenaline and women who left lipstick stains on his regrets. Austin built walls. Dated men who bolted at the first whiff of commitment. "You're different," Austin murmured one October evening, leaves skittering across the porch like fleeing ghosts, as Caleb pulled him close. "You stay." Caleb's kiss was fierce, tasting of cider and promise. "Damn right I do." But promises in Omaha were as fragile as the Platte River ice in thaw. Holiday lights twinkled early that year, and with them came the first letter from Ethan, yellowed envelope postmarked from Tecumseh State Correctional. His scrawl jagged like barbed wire. "Little bro, Mikey's got your eyes. Tell him I love him. Parole hearing in 22. Hold the fort." Austin read it aloud to Caleb over coffee, his voice steady but his hands shaking. Now 6 and obsessed with dinosaurs, drew a T-Rex card to send back. Crayons smudged with, "Daddy, I miss you." Caleb squeezed his shoulder. "You're giving him a life." "Os." That's more than holding a fort. Yet doubt crept in like frost on the windows. Social services check-ins ramped up. The caseworker eyeing Caleb's weekend overnights with a pursed lip. "Stable environment," she droned, jotting notes. At the shop, whispers turned to outright jabs. Fairy uncle playing house? And Austin's hookups dried up, his world shrinking to oil rags and bedtime routines. Caleb noticed, pulling him aside after a particularly brutal shift. "We're in this." "Yeah, the kid." "Family's what you make it." Austin nodded. "Throat tight." And that night they made love slow and deliberate. Bodies tangled in sheets that smelled of laundry, soap, and home. For a heartbeat, it felt unbreakable. Then came the call from the prison chaplain. Voice clipped over the line, "Ethan's appeal denied." Another 5 years tacked on for good behavior gone bad. A fight in the yard. Shiv involved. Mikey overheard, bursting into tears at the dinner table, his fork clattering like a gunshot. "Why can't Daddy come home? Is it 'cause of me?" "No. Buddy," Austin soothed, scooping him up, Caleb's hand warm on his back. "It's grown-up stuff." "But we're your home now." Mikey buried his face in Austin's neck, small body racked with sobs. In that moment, with Caleb's steady gaze anchoring them, Austin dared to dream of forever, a ring, maybe, or papers making it official. Blood ties be damned, this was the family he'd clawed from the wreckage. But dreams in the heartland have a way of splintering come dawn. Winter clamped down on Omaha like a vice, the wind howling off the Missouri as if mourning the twins' fractured bond. Austin's world narrowed to the glow of Christmas lights strung crookedly on the ranch house eaves, Mikey's laughter echoing through the halls as he and Caleb built a gingerbread Alamo, complete with tiny cacti fashioned from green sprinkles. Chaos? Collie B says Texans fight dirty. But we got heart, Mikey declared. 7 now and all gangly limbs and gap-toothed grins. His stutter a ghost banished by kindergarten phonics and Caleb's patient encouragement. Austin watched them from the kitchen doorway, flour-dusted and heartful. Caleb's laugh lines crinkling as he smeared icing on Mikey's nose. It had been a year since that napkin scribble, and Caleb had woven himself into the fabric of their days, coaching Mikey's t-ball team, where the kid struck out more than he swung but hustled like a champ. Date nights at the Orpheum, sneaking back row kisses during Wicked's intermission, lazy Sundays with the Omaha World Herald crossword. Caleb's pen tapping Austin's temple as he teased wrong answers. "You're glowing, cowboy," Caleb murmured one frosty morning, snow blanketing the yard like forgiveness, as they shoveled the drive side by side. His breath fogged the air, mingling with Austin's, and when their mittened hands brushed, Austin pulled him close, kissing him fierce against the garage door. Right? Not just some rebound pity party. Caleb's eyes softened, that gray-green storm clearing to sunlight. "Pity? Baby, you're the best damn thing that's crashed into my life since that 98 F-150 I totaled in college. I love you. Os." Mikey too. "Even your crappy coffee." The words landed like snowflakes on Austin's tongue, sweet, fleeting, but accumulating into something solid. He said it back that night, over venison chili simmered slow on the stove, Mikey's bedtime playlist of Raffi crooning softly in the background. "Love you," Austin whispered, Caleb's arms around him from behind, chin hooked over his shoulder. It felt like absolution, like the twins' old pact renewed, through thick and thin. Spring thawed the ground and Ethan's letters, arriving bi-weekly now, filled with prison yard philosophy and pleas for photos. Send pics of the kid. Tell him about the time we caught that catfish bigger than Mama's skillet. Austin obliged, taping glossies of Mikey on his first bike, training wheels wobbling under Caleb's steady hand, to the envelopes. But the questions sharpened. Who's the guy in the background? That his coach or what? You know? With him. Are ya? Austin burned that one in the shop's incinerator bin, the flames licking up the words like accusations. Ethan knew, had always known, about the boys in Austin's high school shadows, the furtive touches in barn lofts. My brother's straight edge, he'd brag to his buddies, slinging an arm around Austin like a shield. But shields rust, and Ethan's protectiveness curdled into something uglier behind bars. Keep your fairy shit away from my boy. Caleb found the next letter crumpled in the trash, his face paling as he smoothed it out. Os, we gotta talk about this. They did. Over beers on the porch as cicadas buzzed the dusk alive. Austin spilled it all, the closet he'd half-inched out of, the shop talk that still stung, the fear that loving Caleb meant losing Mikey when Ethan walked free. He's blood, Austin said, voice raw. And I'm just the stand-in. Caleb's hand found his thumb stroking the callus from years of wrenches. Blood don't make family. Os. You do. Every diaper, every fever, every thrium, that's you. And if Ethan can't see that, he trailed off. But his eyes held no judgment, only the fierce loyalty Austin had craved since their daddy's funeral. When Ethan got drunk and Austin got the condolences, they sealed it with a vow, no rings yet, but a shared lease on a bigger place downtown. 2 bedrooms and a yard for Mikey's inevitable dog. Moving day was chaos, boxes labeled in Caleb's neat script. Ethan's old vinyls crated like relics. Mikey riding Caleb's shoulders like a king surveying his kingdom. This is our castle, the boy crowed. And for a summer sticky with promise, it was barbecues with Caleb's coworkers, a trip to the zoo where Mikey fed giraffes and Austin stole kisses behind the reptile house. But autumn brought shadows. Ethan's parole board reconvened early, good behavior, therapy credits, and the letter arrived like a gut punch, hearing next month. If I get out, I'm taking my son. Blood's thicker. Don't make me fight you for it. Austin's hands shook as he read it to Caleb, the words blurring through hot tears. He can't, he wouldn't. He might, Caleb said gently, pulling him down to the couch. But we'll lawyer up. Get rights formalized. You're his dad in all but name. The fight ignited then. Slow burning at first, consultations with a pro bono family attorney, a nameplate on the apartment door reading Austin. Mikey Hale Reyes in Mikey's wobbly print. Social services nodded approval. But the caseworker's notes lingered on non-traditional dynamics, her pen scratching like claws. At t-ball practice? A dad's offhand, that your roommate? To Caleb drew blood, Austin's temper flaring, shoving the man against the chain link until Caleb pulled him off, whispering, Not here. Os. For the kid. Nights grew taut, love-making turning desperate, as if they could fuck the fear away. You're mine, Caleb growled one stormy evening, pinning Austin to the mattress, rain lashing the windows like Ethan's ghost. Ours. Austin arched into it, nails raking Caleb's back. But the afterglow soured with what-ifs. Mikey sensed the shift. His questions probing. Is Cobby B mad? Does he gotta go away like daddy? No. Champ, Austin lied. Heart splintering. He's staying. The hearing loomed like a thunderhead. And Austin drove to Tecumseh alone. The prison's razor wire glinting under a merciless sun. Ethan looked hollowed out, cheeks gaunt. The twin spark dimmed to embers, but his grip on the plexiglass phone was iron. You been good to him? He demanded, eyes raking Austin's face for lies. Every damn day, Austin shot back, voice steady. He's happy. Ethan. School. Friends. A home. With me and the guy. Yeah. I heard. Ethan's lip curled. That old protectiveness twisting ugly. What? You think a fag and his boyfriend can raise my boy, right? Bible says. Fuck the Bible, Austin hissed. The words exploding like buckshot. You left him in a truck while you drowned in Jack. I was there for the stitches. The nightmares. You want him? Earn it. Ethan's face crumpled. The fight leaching out like pus from a wound. I know I fucked up. But he's mine. Os. Blood. They hung up to the buzzer's drone. And Austin drove home numb. The plains stretching endless and indifferent. Caleb waited with takeout and open arms. But the seed was planted, festering. Weeks later, the parole granted, Ethan out in 60 days. Celebration cards from inmates mocked Austin from the mailbox. And Mikey bounced with joy, drawing welcome home banners until his fingers cramped. Austin smiled through it, but sleep evaded him. Dreams of courtrooms and custody battles where Caleb's hand slipped from his. The betrayal came quiet, on a crisp November afternoon. Austin came home early from the shop, grease-monkeyed and bone-tired, to find the apartment empty, Mikey at school, Caleb supposedly at a conference. But the truck was parked out front, and through the half-open bedroom door. Voices, Ethan's laugh. Rough as sandpaper, mingling with Caleb's murmur. Austin froze, heart jackhammering, then pushed in. There they were, fresh-shaved and in street clothes, perched on the bed's edge, Caleb beside him, hand on his knee, expression crumpling like wet paper at Austin's stare. Aus, Caleb startet. Rising, but Ethan cut him off. Standing tall. Easy, bro. Caleb here picked me up. Said we needed to talk. Man to man. For Mikey, the room spun. Austin's vision tunneling to that hand, broad and scarred like his own, but not brushing Caleb's arm in thanks. What? Austin choked, betrayal blooming hot in his chest. Caleb stepped forward, palms up. He called me Os. From the halfway house. Said he was scared, needed advice on reintegrating. I thought. You thought you'd play white knight for my junkie brother? The words lashed out. Venom Austin didn't know he carried. Behind my back? Ethan's jaw tightened. Hey. I ain't. Save it, Austin snarled, whirling on Caleb. And you, love me? This is how you show it? Sneaking around like some? It's not like that. Caleb's voice cracked. Desperate. I was helping. For you. For Mikey. But the damage spiderwebbed. Trust fracturing like the apartment's cheap drywall. Austin stormed out. tires screeching into the dusk. The city's sodium lights blurring through tears. He ended up at the old ranch house. Empty now but for ghosts. Punching the bag in the garage until his knuckles split. Blood ties. He thought. Tasting copper. They always win. The fallout hit like a Nebraska nor'easter, swift, unrelenting, burying everything under drifts of silence and slammed doors. Austin crashed on the ranch house couch that night. Phone buzzing ignored in his pocket. The screen lighting up with Caleb's pleas, "Talk to me. Please." It wasn't what you think. By morning, Mikey was home from school. Dropped by the bus with a backpack sagging like Austin spirits. And the questions tumbled out. "Where's Cobby B? Why'd you leave?" Austin scooped him up, burying his face in the boy's tousled hair, Din's hair. A knife twist reminder. Just a grown-up sleepover. Kiddo. We'll sort it. But sorting meant facing the mirror of his twin, who showed up at noon. Duffel slung over his shoulder. Eyes hollowed by the halfway house's fluorescent glare. "Bro," Ethan started, hovering in the doorway like a penitent ghost. "About yesterday." Save the apology, Austin cut him off. Coffee mug gripped white-knuckled. "You got out. Mikey's yours." "I'll sign the papers." Ethan winced, stepping in, the floorboards creaking under his weight. "It ain't that simple. Kid's glued to you. And that guy, Caleb, he's solid. Told me stuff. You know? How you held it together when I was rotting in there." Austin's laugh was a bark. Bitter. "Yeah. What else he tell you? How I cry in the shower. Or just enough to make you feel like less of a deadbeat?" Ethan's face flushed. That twin mirror cracking. "He cares? Os. About you. Said he fucked up reaching out without looping you in. But he's trying to bridge this, for all of us." The words landed wrong, twisting the knife. Bridge? Phil. With his easy smiles and steady hands. Confiding in Ethan? The man who'd abandoned his son for a bottle. Who'd sneered at Austin's truth from a cell block. Rage boiled over. Austin shoving Ethan back a step. "You don't get to waltz in and play family fixer. You left us to drown. I raised him, the fevers, the bullies calling him jailbait at recess. Me and Caleb. And now you poison it." Ethan held his ground, scars aligning like accusations. "I was wrong. Therapy drilled that in anger's my demon. Booze its leash. But blood. Os. We're all he's got of me." Mikey burst in then, banner in hand, "Welcome home, Daddy." And the fight deflated. Ethan dropping to his knees for a hug that broke them both. Austin watched, chest caving. The boy a bridge neither could burn. Caleb showed up that evening, rain-slicked and desperate, pounding the door until Austin yanked it open. "You gonna let me explain? Or we doing this the hard way?" "Hard way's my specialty," Austin growled. But he stepped aside, the apartment thick with unspoken fractures. Over lukewarm pizza, Mikey picked it silently. Caleb spilled it, Ethan's call at 2 a.m. Voice slurred with fresh freedom's fear. "I don't know how to be a dad anymore. Help me not fuck this up for my kid." Phil. Ever the counselor? Had listened, advised, therapy referrals, AA meetings, co-parenting books. "I thought it was separate," he finished, eyes pleading. "Your brother. Your fight. Not ours." "Ours," Austin echoed, voice pitching high. "You made it ours when you lied. When you chose him over me. Caleb's hand reached across the table, trembling. Never over you. For you. To fix this so we could all, he glanced at Mikey, drawing dinosaurs on a napkin. Be whole. The word hung, fragile as the boy's lines. That night, after tucking Mikey in with promises of zoo trips featuring Daddy and GB, Austin and Caleb faced off in the bedroom. Words weaponized. I love you, Caleb insisted, backing Austin against the wall. But you're shutting me out. Like I'm the enemy. You're the one who opened the door to him, Austin shot back. But his resolve wavered under Caleb's touch, fingers tracing his jaw, thumb brushing the scar they shared in spirit. They fell into bed, bodies colliding in a storm of need and hurt. Caleb's whispers, stay with me. Os. Fight with me, drowning the doubts. Dawn found them tangled, bruised but breathing. A tentative truce, joint counseling, boundaries etched in stone. Ethan would visit supervised. Caleb? No more secret summits. For a fragile fortnight? The held. Ethan showed up sober, a chip glinting, teaching Mikey to bait a hook at the Platt's muddy banks while Austin and Caleb packed a picnic. Stolen glances reigniting the spark. See, Caleb murmured, hand on Austin's thigh under the blanket. We're good. Better, but cracks spiderwebbed unseen. Crashing on a buddy's couch. Started lingering, dinners stretching late. Stories of prison yard ball games drawing Mikey's awe. Daddy says you're brave. Uncas, the boy confided one night, climbing into Austin's lap. Like Superman, but with cars. Austin's throat closed. Brave? Or just the fool holding the bag? The shatter came mid-December. Holiday lights mocking the chill. Austin walked in on Ethan and Caleb in the kitchen, not touching, thank Christ, but heads bent close over a stack of custody forms. Caleb's pen poised. What the actual fuck? Austin roared. Papers scattering like confetti from hell. Ethan jumped, face ashen. Os. Wait. No. Austin's eyes locked on Caleb. Betrayal a fresh wound. You said boundaries. This is you helping him steal my kid. It's mediation, Caleb protested. Standing arms out. Neutral ground. So no one's blindsided in court. Court. The word echoed. Hello. Mikey peeked from the hall, eyes wide, and bolted to his room. Ethan followed, cooing comforts, leaving Austin and Caleb in the wreckage. You planned this, Austin accused, voice breaking. With him. All of it, because the talks. Blood before love. Right. Caleb's face crumpled. Good. I was trying to protect you from a war. Ethan once shared custody. Os. Not full. But if we fight dirty, it tears Mikey in half. And you? Austin demanded, chest heaving. Where do you land in this clusterfuck? Team Twin? Or Team You? Caleb whispered, stepping close. But Austin recoiled. The touch burning now. Prove it. The challenge hung. Ultimatum sharp. Caleb's silence stretched eternal. Then shattered. I can't choose. Ethan's family. Mikey's dad. And you're my heart. But if forcing it breaks us. The door clicked shut behind him an hour later. Duffel in hand, temporary. At a motel till the dust settled. Austin slid down the wall, sobs racking him silent, the apartment echoing empty. Ethan found him there, Mikey asleep on his chest. "Bro," he said softly, crouching, "I never wanted this." "Caleb, he's gold. Don't let my mess." "Your mess is us," Austin rasped. "Always has been." The holidays blurred into gray, Mikey shuttling between apartments, his stutter resurfacing like an old scar. Austin threw himself into the shop, hands black with grease, ignoring Caleb's texts, "Miss you." "Come to therapy?" Until the custody hearing loomed, a guillotine blade. New Year's Eve, Ethan showed up drunk at the ranch house, bottle in fist, eyes wild. "Heard your boys shacking at the Starlight." "Pathetic." "Os. Thought you had taste." "Get out," Austin snarled, shoving him toward the door. But Ethan swung, fist connecting with jaw. Stars exploding. They grappled like boys in the hayloft, blood and curses flying, until Mikey screamed from the stairs, "Stop, please." The fight died. Ethan crumpling, bottle shattering. "I'm sorry," he gasped, twin tears mirroring Austin's. "I can't lose him." "Or you." Austin pulled him up, ribs aching. "Then fight clean." For once, dawn broke on resolutions unspoken, but the high ground crumbled fast. Whispers at the shop turned to outright sabotage, tires slashed on Austin's truck. Anonymous notes, "Keep your perversion off my kid." Cornered by his own demons, lashed out in mediation, lawyer painting Austin as unstable, alternative lifestyle, a code for unfit. Caleb testified neutral, voice steady, "Austin's the father Mikey needs." But his eyes avoided Austin's. The distance a chasm. The judge ruled split, Ethan primary. Austin weekends, blood's decree. Mikey clung to Austin that last night, sobbing, "Don't let me go." "I won't," Austin vowed. But the system laughed. As Ethan loaded the boys' things, Caleb lingered in the doorway, rain sheeting down. "I chose wrong," he said, voice wrecked. "Always you." But Austin turned away, heart cauterized. Too late. Texas. The door shut, blood ties sealing the wound. Spring came late that year, the Platte swollen with meltwater and unspoken grief, mirroring the flood in Austin's chest as Mikey's absence carved hollows in the apartment. Weekends were salvage scraps, Saturday cartoons and root beer floats. Mikey chattering about his new room at Ethan's rented duplex. "Daddy got me a fish tank." Unkaos. Goldfish named Sharky. But the stutter lingered, a telltale fracture, and Austin's smiles felt painted on, cracking at the edges. The shop became his confessional, wrenches sermonizing over engines that didn't judge. Caleb's motel stint stretched to a sublet downtown, their paths crossing at T-ball fields where he coached neutrally, eyes lingering too long on Austin's slumped form in the bleachers. "Hey," he'd say, casual as Midwest weather. But Austin nodded curt, the betrayal a barbed wire fence neither breached. Sober 6 months strong, bloomed into fatherhood tentative as a fawn, A meetings thrice weekly, night classes for his GD, bedtime stories in a voice roughened by regret. "You're a natural," Austin conceded one drop-off. Mikey scampering inside with a backpack of dinosaurs. Ethan paused, porch light haloing his scar. "Learned from the best." "Bro, you saved us." The words thawed something, a tentative bridge forming, Coffee at the diner. Updates on Mikey's kindergarten crush. Ethan even asking Paul about Caleb. He's still in the picture? Austin's coffee turned bitter. Pictures burned. Nights alone were the worst. The bed vast and cold. Austin's hand wandering to memories of Caleb's touch, calloused palms on his hips. That drawl whispering filth and forever. He'd wake sweating. Phone in hand. Thumb hovering over delete contact but never pressing. Pride was a lonely sentinel. The unraveling hit Ethan first. Midsummer swelter. A relapse, work stress at the warehouse gig. A buddy's bachelor bash with open bar left him pounding on Austin's door at 3 a.m. reeking of relapse and remorse. Mikey in tow. Confused and teary. I slipped, Ethan confessed. Slurring. As Austin bundled the boy inside. Can't do this alone. Help me. Os. For him. Austin's jaw clenched. Old resentments flaring. But Mikey's small hand in his quelled the fire. Crash here. Sober up. Then we talk custody flip. Dawn brought clarity. Ethan on the couch. Head in hands. Mikey curled against Austin. Thumb in mouth like baby days. Caleb arrived unbidden, alerted by a frantic text from Ethan. The betrayal's echo, and the three men faced off in the kitchen. Coffee perking like a truce flag. You called him, Austin stated. Not a question. Hurt lacing the accusation. Ethan nodded. Sheepish. Knew you'd kill me. Needed backup. Caleb's gaze was steady. Contrite. I came for Mikey. And you. The air thickened. Unsaid currents swirling. Austin wanted to rage. To evict them both. But exhaustion won. Fine. But this ends the games. Therapy followed, family sessions in a strip mall office. The counselor's neutral tones dissecting the twins' enmeshment. Caleb's enabling tendencies. Mikey's divided loyalties. Blood ties bind, she said. But love chooses. Austin listened. Fine. As Ethan owned his wreckage, I hated you for being stronger. For loving different. But you raised my son right. Caleb echoed it in private. Cornering Austin after a session. Hallway fluorescent and intimate. I chose wrong before, tried to fix without you. Won't again. His hand brushed Austin's. Tentative. If you'll let me try. Austin pulled away. But softer. Prove it. Again. Fall painted the leaves gold. And proof came piecemeal. Caleb at every supervised visit. Mediating Ethan's lapses without secrets, Ethan pushing for joint custody reversal. His affidavit praising Austin's stability, my twins the rock I ain't. Mikey thrived. Stutter vanishing amid dual homes. His drawings now featuring 4 figures, daddies and uncles. Linked arms under rainbows. The high drama peaked Thanksgiving. A forced feast at the old ranch house, turkey charred. Yams lumpy. But laughter bubbling as Mikey retold school plays. Wine loosened tongues. Ethan raising a glass. To blood. And the family we built around it. Caleb's foot nudged Austin's under the table. A question. Austin met his eyes, gray-green storms cleared, and nodded. After pie. With Mikey conked out on the rug amid football highlights. The twins stepped onto the porch. Breath fogging in the crisp air. You forgive me? Ethan asked. Voice small. Austin clapped his shoulder. Scar to scar. The wins. Dumbass. Forgiveness is the deal. Inside. Caleb waited. arms open. Austin walked into them. The kiss salt-tinged with tears, relief, release. I love you, Caleb murmured against his lips. Chose you. Always. Damn right, Austin whispered, hands fisting his shirt. They tumbled to the guest room later, bodies rediscovering rhythms lost, slow, reverent, laughter mingling with gasps. Marry me, Caleb panted. Thrust. Eyes alight. Austin arched, grinning wicked. Only if you promise no more brotherly heart-to-hearts. Dawn broke gentle. Mikey waking them with pancakes demands. Ethan flipping flapjacks in the kitchen like he'd never left. Custody flipped back full to Austin by Christmas, Ethan's voluntary. I ain't ready prime time, with visitation open. The boy shuttling love both ways. Years folded forward, Mikey at 12. Lanky and questioning his own heart over sleepover whispers. Uncle, is it okay to like boys? Austin's coming out redux gentle. Caleb's hand steady on his shoulder. Ethan found a woman. Steady and no-nonsense. Their wedding a backyard affair with Mikey as ring-bearer. Toasting to Sikon's chances. Austin and Caleb's was courtside, Vegas quickie. Elvis officiating. Rings simple silver bands etched with through thick on one. And thin on the other. Back in Omaha. The ranch house sold. They bought a Craftsman in Dundee, wraparound porch for swings. Room for the dog Mikey begged. Walls echoing with chosen blood. One August Eve. Fireflies dancing. Austin watched Caleb chase Mikey through the yard. Laughter ringing true. Ethan pulled up late. Six-pack in hand. His girl's hand in his. Family reunion? He grinned. Cracking a brew. Austin raised his. Clinking. The best kind. Blood ties had won. Not in division. But we've, frayed threads mended stronger. Love the loom. In the heartland's endless sky. Austin breathed free. Twin scars a map to home.